Hello friends, along the international cruiser here. And once again, NCL has changed the itinerary of an inaugural cruise on one of its ships crossing the ocean from Europe to the United States. At least this time, NCL didn't remember at the last minute and are announcing the change now for a cruise scheduled to take place in March 2026 on the NCL Luna. For those who don't remember or don't know, this year's inaugural cruise of the NCL AQUA did not take place as planned, and passengers received the notice about the change on the day of departure at the port terminal. The change not only included an itinerary change and the cancellation of a port, but also an extension of the cruise itself by 2 days and a change of the final port from Boston to New York, which of course affects flight arrangements, hotels, and more. And it's true that getting 2 extra days on a cruise ship isn't terrible, but such a major last-minute change without prior notice made it impossible for some of the guests who arrived to even go on the cruise. Not everyone can suddenly add 2 more days to their vacation, let alone arrive at a different final port. There were quite a few disappointed people there who had to cancel. At least this time, it's not such an unusual case, and I even believe that it's a good change for the passengers, but it's still a change, so it's important to pay attention to it. So what was originally planned? The Luna was supposed to depart from the port of Rome, stop along the way at the port of Tangier in Morocco, and finish in Miami. This time, the change is only in the route itself. The departure and arrival are at the same ports and on the same dates. But instead of a short visit to Morocco, the ship will dock overnight in Barcelona, giving you almost 2 full days in the city, and then continue to a stop in Gibraltar, which is on the other side of the bay from Tangier. After that, it will cross the ocean and is scheduled to do so in 8 nights instead of 10 as originally planned. Which of course raises the question, why didn't they originally add more stops along the way? Here's an example of a past itinerary of the Epic or its planned route in November 2026. As you can see, it's not that there aren't places to stop along the way. So why do cruise companies prefer to sail slowly instead of stopping along the way or arriving in a shorter time? I mean, I understand that slower sailing saves on fuel, but it costs time. The 2 days that would have been saved on the voyage could have been sold as part of another cruise before or after the transatlantic crossing, or alternatively, could have made the experience of such a long journey more enjoyable with stops at ports along the way that are generally rarely visited. Even if this still somewhat increases the price of the cruise, it would definitely raise demand. After all, if there were fewer days at sea and visits to ports you haven't been to before, wouldn't that increase the value of such a cruise for you? I know that for me, this would definitely be a positive consideration, and instead of 10 days at sea, stopping along the way at 2 or 3 ports I've never visited before, and the chances of me ever getting there are close to 0, sign me up right now. In any case, this is the latest update from NCL. Let's hope that this time they won't change it again at the last minute, and that this will be the only change. And since at least this time the change is being announced before the final payment date, it also allows those for whom the change doesn't suit to cancel in time, and for those who see the change as a positive thing, maybe you can consider booking this cruise now. Because if you have the time to dedicate to this, and you were planning to fly to the United States around the same period anyway, you might consider this alternative. Fly to Europe, to Rome, and save the difference in the airfare from Rome to the United States, thereby relatively reducing the cost of the cruise. So, what do you think? Would you like to go on a transatlantic cruise? If so, give this video a like. And where do we go from here? You can click on one of the following videos. And if you haven't done so yet, I also invite you to subscribe to the channel by clicking on the channel icon on the left side of your screen, and I'll see you in the next video.